Episode 4.
Struggling to get your business online? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Michael and Teresa Blaze.
Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Blaze, and this is my wife, Teresa. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you all?
So, what are we going to talk about today, Teresa?
Well, we are live at Podcast Movement, and we're going to talk about podcasting and how you can use that to grow your business or brand your business.
So, what exactly is podcasting? I've been hearing about this. I mean, is that like an Apple thing?
Well, it's known by Apple, but it's not really an Apple thing. Think about it like radio on demand. If you have a smartphone, iPad, or some kind of tablet, or even your PC if you wanted to, you can listen to podcasts on any subject imaginable.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing about it. Here at Podcast Movement, we've talked to a lot of podcasters, and they're from every niche, from dating to travel to you name it.
Dog training.
Dog training. If you wanted to do a podcast for underwater basket weaving, you could do it. I don't think you'd have a very big audience, but
hey, anything's possible.
Anything is possible. That's the beauty of it.
So, I guess the biggest question, for the audience here is, well, okay, that's great, but I run a brick and mortar store. What would I want to use podcasting for?
Well, I think what we need to think about is you always, in the online space, you're going to need content, period. Mm-hmm. One of the best ways to produce content is audio.
Agreed.
You have basically three choices when you come to content. You've got visual, you've got audio, and you've got print. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's a lot easier. Audio is actually the easiest to produce out of all the different forms of content.
Agreed fully.
Because all you're doing is talking, just like we're talking right now.
Mm-hmm. And the nice thing about it is once we're done, we can sit down and go, okay, you know what? I'm going to upload this to iTunes, and this is going to become a walking business card, sort of. And the thing is, you can do that with your business.
Exactly.
I don't really care what your business is, whether you're a lawyer, a computer repair person, maybe you have a retail store. In fact, I heard about a case study of a guy who owns a chain of grocery stores.
Right.
And he's going to be starting to do a podcast talking about the different sales and what to look for in the delis. And, I mean, just you name it, he's doing it. The point being, even if you have a retail location, that's fine. Just get out there and figure out a way that you can use podcasting. Because if you can get 100 people to listen to your show, okay, and out of that 100, you encourage 10 to 20 more to come into your location.
Right.
That's 10 to 20 customers you didn't have before, and guess where they heard about you? They heard about you on their phone, on podcasting, okay, from your podcast. And so...
And the funny thing is, podcasting, I can't think of one niche where you couldn't benefit from some kind of podcasting.
No. I mean, if you're a service-based company, such as a lawyer or a CPA, you know what I would do? I'd sit down, I would put a way for people to ask their questions on your website using SpeakPipe, okay? Mm-hmm. And then what I would do is I would take those recordings, I would upload them in, and I would answer them on the podcast.
Agreed.
There you go. And, oh, by the way, you didn't record all the content.
Exactly. That's what makes it such a cool medium.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about the different formats, because there's different formats to podcasting, okay?
Right.
There's the monologue, which is just you sit down, you talk about some points. Maybe you write about 5 or 6 points that you want to cover within your podcast. Maybe more, maybe less. It depends on what you want to do. Okay, so there's the monologue. There's what we call the co-host, which is actually the format that Mike and I are using right now.
Right.
Okay. So that's basically you sit down with someone else and you talk about whatever points you want to cover, but you actually kind of bounce them back and forth. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then you have the interview style. Interview style would be, hey, I'm going to go ahead and interview my customers, or I'm going to interview someone else within the space about X topic, whether that be law or computer repair. I really don't care what the thing is. You could do it on just about anything.
Right.
Okay? And then there is, question and answer. So, like I was saying before, you get people coming in. They record their call, or you could even set it up to where they call in live. If you have a phone number and you have a way to do that, you could do that. Okay, they could call in live. You could actually answer their question. In fact, I know there's a podcast out there called The Tech Guy, Leo Laporte. He does that very well, where people will actually call in and he will answer their technology questions.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, mentioning Leo Laporte, he was actually inducted into the Podcasters Hall of Fame this weekend at this event. So we got to see that. That was pretty cool. So what does it cost to start podcasting? How hard is it to do it?
It's not that hard. I mean, the mic that I'm using right now is about, what, $50?
$60.
Yes, $50, $60, okay? And then... it can go up to high-end recording equipment, okay? It really can. I've seen setups that are like $2,200, but it doesn't have to start there. You could probably get started for under $200.
Yeah, and that's website, cover art, graphics, your equipment, your software, and everything else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for under $200, you could set up something where you can promote your business in a way that you haven't been able to in the past. Mm-hmm. And if you're ignoring the digital space, I mean, your goal is to get your business online, right?
Well, your goal is to get customers.
Right. And we know one of the best ways to get customers is to go online.
Right.
But what you want to do is you want to be real. And just like we're talking to you right now, you can do the same thing and talk to your customers directly. Agreed.
So what I would suggest you guys do is really sit down, okay? Sit down, figure out what you want to do, figure out the best way that you could do podcasting. And you could even do video. I mean, there are podcasts that are basically videos out there.
Yeah, they call them vodcasts.
Mm-hmm. But again, that's a whole nother ball of wax. We won't cover that today. But,
right.
I mean, the point is sit down, figure out what you can do, okay, what possible format you might want to cover.
Right.
And then just take the action and get out there and do it. It's not that hard. It's not that scary. All you have to do is just sit down and talk about your business. Surely everybody likes to do that, right?
Right. And, you could interview clients. There's a lot of things you can do.
I mean,
the point is take the action.
Yeah,
Don't just sit on your thumbs and expect your business to grow. It's not going to.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying be a self-promotion. You don't want your podcast to be a self-promotion per se, okay?
No.
What you want to do is add value. One of the key things I took away from podcast movement is threefold. If your podcast must be valuable, it must be unique, and it must provide quality content. It must be of quality. So, if you are a lawyer, then why don't you do lawyer tips for within the law based on whatever area of law you're practicing? If you're a air conditioning guy, maybe you want to cover different things in the realm of air conditioning when they start looking for stuff. Maybe you're an investment person, a real estate person. I can guarantee you right now there's a ton of real estate podcasts out there. And I've met a good number of them. So, just take action, and start recording. It's never too late to start recording.
It's just a no-brainer. It's not difficult, and there's tons of training out there. Any training that you would recommend, Therese, to learn how to do this?
I would recommend either Podcaster's Paradise, or I would recommend the School of Podcasting. Both of them are very solid.
And I know Pat Flynn has some videos on his website as well.
Yes, sir. You can get that at, freepodcastcourse.com.
Right.
I think that's Pat Flynn, but yeah.
No, that's Dumas.
Yeah, okay. So, freepodcastcourse.com, just check it out, Just take the action.
That's it.
All right. This is Mike and Teresa with the sbppodcast.com. All of our show notes will be there. All of our links will be there. And just take the action.
You've been listening to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. To catch all our past shows, visit sbppodcast.com.